Greetings and salutations, everyone. Today, after many a comment from you fantastic Bytelings, I tried out Tree of Savior Rebuild. And boy, did they rebuild it alright. From the last time I played this adorable little MMORPG, there are just so many differences right off the bat, noticeable to even a lowbie scrub like myself, who hasn't leveled a character to whatever the max level is, like 754. Okay, now I know that is a bit of an exaggeration, with the max level being somewhere around 340. But hey, when you've leveled up that many levels, I'm sure it feels like 750. Now, I was asked to play Tree of Savior Rebuild because of the vast changes that were made, especially to the class system. These changes also seem to mainly affect the early game content for Tree of Savior, so it's easy to jump right in and show you guys some of the differences. If you want to see how Tree of Savior played before, if you were unaware of this change, you can just watch my older Tree of Savior video, which I can link in the description so you can see how it played before as to how it plays now. Now, as I was saying, there was a lot of changes in Rebuild, thus its name. And in my opinion, it seems to be taking Tree of Savior to a more casual, friendly area. And it makes it a lot easier to play, especially when deciding your classes. However, going from what older players have mentioned, it does take away from some of the hardcore aspects of the game. To give a simple example of the differences before Rebuild, your classes would progress through 7 ranks, each rank unlocking 2 classes with it, or 3 depending on whether or not there was a hidden class at that rank. With this new system in Rebuild, you will have 3 advanced classes, along with your base class that you chose at the very beginning. This does make the system a lot simpler and less punishing to mistakes, as you can swap out your advanced classes if you don't like it, by simply gathering class points which are attainable in-game through dailies, quests, events, and etc. Not only that, but it does seem to allow for more customization and trial by error, as you can swap your classes without the same kind of penalties as you would before. Oftentimes, if you made a mistake before, you would have to create a new character, or at least that's the cheaper option. Something else that was changed that's pretty significant is the change to the attribute section. Before the Rebuild patch, you could manually place your statistics in however you wanted. Whether you wanted to have full constitution, full strength, full dexterity, the choice was yours, even if it was a mistake. This allowed for the freedom to create a character that truly represented how you wanted to play. However, this isn't exactly what the majority of people did. Most people who played the game would simply type in what's the best build for X class and just put the statistics in that was supposed to make their character the best that they could be, because nobody wants to make a mistake when making their character. Since that has been changed in Rebuild, statistics are placed based on what class you chose, which is a really interesting feature. Now, you still have the ability to get attribute points in the game, however, it's not given by leveling up. They are gathered from different means. There's a variety of different ways you can get it. From what I could tell, you get them from completing specific quests, but I'm sure there's more than just that. That is just what I experienced. So you can still theoretically alter your character and create a character that fits you, just not to the same extremes as before. In my opinion, these new class changes and attribute changes comes off as a casual, friendly patch, as the whole system seems a hell of a lot simpler and easier to understand in comparison to how it was before. But I mean, that could have also been the appeal to Tree of Savior, having to plan out your character's build, statistics, and everything like that. That could have been the selling point. Besides the changes I've already mentioned with the Rebuild update, there was also a new base class that was added, which is called Scout. This Scout class has a variety of new classes that you get to try out. The weapon types that you will generally use while playing the Scout class are swords, daggers, and guns, depending on your advancements, of course. Another thing to mention with this new Scout base class and with the Rebuild update is that classes from previous base classes have been moved around, and so have their skills. So to give an example of some of the things that have been affected by Rebuild in terms of the classes that have been moved around, let's look at the Archer and Swordsman base classes. These base classes have had some changes to what they can become. For instance, the Archer base class used to have Scout Scout as one of the advancements you could become. Now that Scout is its own base class, it has taken along with it Rogue, Schwartz Raider, Squire, Shinobi, and Crosshair. Some of these have been taken from the Archer, some of them have been taken from the Swordsman, and some of them have even been taken from the Mage, that I haven't listed here. Now, as I said, I did try out Tree of Savior Rebuild, and I thought it was perfect to try out the new class that came with it. So both Eve and myself played this new class to show it off a little and see what awesome classes it can advance to, and just generally what you could look forward to if you decided to play it. Now, besides the obvious changes that I've already mentioned, there wasn't a whole lot different from what I could tell, at least in the early stages of gameplay. The classes and the attributes section seems to be the main overhauled section of the game. The actual leveling process, the combat, the questing system, everything else seems to be rather the same. Not only that, but leveling up didn't seem any easier or harder, unless, you know, you go and fight in high-level areas and accidentally die. Like I did, but I mean that happens all the time. Talking about the Scout for a moment, as that was a newly added class, I did find the new class quite enjoyable. I personally went the bullet maker route, and I used double guns, whereas Eve went the assassination route using double daggers. The skills were rather awesome, and I always loved playing Tree of Savior. It's a very fun MMORPG, at least in my opinion. I know that's not necessarily a popular opinion. But all in all, in my experience through playing, Tree of Savior is still that niche MMORPG, but it does seem a little bit more casual friendly. So if you're looking to play it, it seems like now is the best time to try it out if the class system and attribute section kind of intimidated you. It seems simpler and easier to experience the game without all of the complexities that it had before. That being said, I did enjoy the fact that you guys suggested me to try out Rebuild. I really enjoyed my experience, and I thank you guys for that. But anyway, good day, night, or afternoon, wherever it is where you guys are, and I will be seeing you next time, so don't forget to check out the next videos. 口づけくらいじゃ足りないもん